Hey everyone. For years, I thought my life with Daniel was normal. You know, the kind of normal that looks perfect on Instagram but has tiny cracks underneath. We had routines, Friday night dinners, little weekend getaways, birthdays, anniversaries. He seemed attentive, at least enough to convince my friends that he was the perfect husband. Sometimes he surprised me with flowers, sometimes with a spontaneous little trip. On paper, we were the picture of a happy couple. But slowly, things started to shift. It wasn't obvious at first. Just little comments, little jabs, sarcasm disguised as jokes. I brushed them off, telling myself he's just stressed. He doesn't mean it. Deep down, though, I felt a twinge in my gut every time he smirked or rolled his eyes at my ideas. Something was brewing, and I was right to be wary. First real sign came on my birthday last year. I was excited. Daniel usually made a big deal out of it. But instead of warm wishes, he laughed at my outfit and muttered, "You look ridiculous." I froze. My friends noticed, my cheeks burned, and I felt a familiar pit of anger. Later that evening, after the birthday dinner, he said the words, "I'll never forget. Honestly, sometimes I can't stand you." I blinked. I waited for a joke. Nothing. Dead serious. My mind raced. Was this a cruel joke? Or had my husband really crossed a line? At that moment, I realized he underestimated me. Completely. And that's when the seed of my birthday revenge was planted. After that birthday incident, I spent the next few weeks planning. I wasn't going to let Daniel's words slide. I wanted him to feel the exact mix of shock, embarrassment, and helplessness that I had felt for months. I decided on the perfect gift, a $250,000 surprise that would leave him speechless. It wasn't just the price tag, it was the statement. Something luxurious, something symbolic, something he couldn't just scoff at or ignore. After hours of research, I settled on a custom-designed piece of jewelry, a one-of-a-kind necklace, encrusted with diamonds, a statement of elegance and power. I had it discreetly delivered to my place a few days before my birthday so that no one could tip him off. I also made sure to keep my emotions in check. No tears, no hints, no gossip. I kept practicing my innocent, happy birthday smile in the mirror, while inside I was brimming with anticipation. Every time I thought of him opening the gift, I imagined that perfect split second where his face would change. Confusion, then panic, then the realization that he had underestimated me completely. He thinks I'm worthless? Let's see what happens when I show him exactly how valuable I can be. The big day arrived. Daniel acted completely oblivious. He barely said happy birthday in the morning and rolled his eyes when I thanked him for a small, underwhelming card he handed me. I kept my composure, smiling and chatting with friends who had come over for the small birthday brunch I had organized. Then came the moment. I handed him a small velvet box. His eyebrows shot up as he looked at it, suspicious. "What's this?" he asked, trying to sound casual. I smiled innocently and said, "Open it. It's for you." As he lifted the lid, I could see his face morph in real time, from curiosity to disbelief to total panic. The necklace gleamed in the sunlight streaming through the window. The diamonds caught the light, sparkling like a warning. He stuttered. What? How?" And I just leaned back, calm, sipping my mimosa, watching his internal meltdown. It was beautiful, almost cinematic. Worthless, remember? Priceless now. The room went quiet. Friends were staring, catching the tension. Daniel tried to laugh it off, but it was too late. The words he had said earlier, "I can't stand you," echoed back at him in the most humiliating way. He turned red, opened his mouth, but no words came. He stammered, glanced at me, glanced at the necklace, and finally muttered something about not expecting this. I just smiled. Oh, I smiled a lot. It wasn't just a gift, it was a statement. A declaration that I wasn't worthless, that his insults meant nothing, and that I had the upper hand. The panic in his eyes, the silence, the inability to respond, pure satisfaction. Happy birthday to me, Daniel. And congratulations to me for finally showing you who's really in charge. The aftermath of that birthday was nothing short of cinematic. Daniel didn't know how to recover. He tried to laugh it off at first, stammering excuses like, I wasn't serious. Or, it's just a gift. It doesn't mean anything. But it did mean something. It meant he had underestimated me. It meant that his cruel words and little jabs had fueled a fire he couldn't put out. Friends who had witnessed the moment whispered, exchanged glances, and suddenly Daniel wasn't the charming, untouchable husband anymore. He looked small, insecure, humiliated, and for the first time, powerless. Even at work, things shifted subtly. A few colleagues who had always sided with him began to see the man behind the mask. Nervous, rattled, someone who had been outsmarted by his supposedly worthless wife. And that gave me a quiet, satisfying thrill every time I thought about it. I noticed a shift in him at home, too. He became more cautious, careful with words, constantly trying to apologize, overcompensating for his past behavior. But the power balance had already changed. He couldn't take back the panic I had planted in him. He couldn't erase that $250K statement that screamed, "I am not what you think I am." He wanted me worthless. Now he's painfully aware of my value. Priceless reaction included. After the birthday, I felt an incredible sense of relief. It was as if a weight I didn't even realize I was carrying had been lifted. The anger, the frustration, the humiliation I'd endured over months, it all crystallized into one perfect moment of vindication. I started seeing the world differently. I respected myself more. I laughed more freely. I made plans I'd been putting off. I invested in myself, not just in gifts or flashy displays, but in growth, hobbies, fitness, and small adventures I'd postponed for years. I began meeting new people, reconnecting with friends, and living in a way that said, I am more than anyone else's opinion of me. And every now and then, I'd catch a glimpse of Daniel trying to act normal, only for his face to betray him, a small, satisfying reminder of that day, and the fact that I had the upper hand in style, in dignity, and in wealth. Worthless? I think not. And oh, what a sweet, sweet lesson for him.